Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to install a DayZ Epoch 1.0.5.1 server. First of all, we've got a couple links we've got to download. I have got them prepared, they'll be in the description. First, we're going to download 7-zip. You may already have it installed. If you have the 64-bit version of Windows, download this one. If you don't, and you have the 32-bit, download this one. I've got 64-bit, so I'm going to download this one. Now, while that's downloading, we'll want to download MySQL Workbench. This will be used to view the database later on to manage things like vehicles and servers and, server traders and stuff like that. Again, if you're on 32-bit Windows, download this one. If you're on 64-bit, download this one. Now you can just skip this by clicking this. And there's the download. Now you want to go to this next link, DayZ Epoch mod, and you'll want to download both the client files and the server files. Next you'll need xAmp. This will run the database for the server. To download it, just click on here and it should download. Last thing we'll need is uTorrent. To download uTorrent, click on this, get uTorrent for Windows, and your download should start. Now I'm just going to wait for all of these to download. Now these have all downloaded, I'm going to drag these to my desktop and put them in a folder. I always find it's good to organize all your data that you're going to put in the server and the actual server itself separately. So I'm going to call this DayZ Epoch Data Store. Now I'm going to go to my downloads. And I'm going to drag all of these over. Just like that. Now, this is a torrent file, and we're going to have to download this through uTorrent. To install uTorrent, double click it, click on next, I agree, and whatever options suit you best. Click next. You do not want to install that. Click decline, click finish. Now you can see uTorrent installed and it opens up. We're now going to download the client files for DayZ by just double clicking on this file here, the DayZ Epoch client 1.0.5.1 release. That should bring up a prompt in uTorrent, and then just download that to wherever you want. So I'm going to download that to the folder we created, which is here. I'm going to select it and click OK. Now this is 1.6 gig, so for some of you it may take a while, some of you it may take a couple of seconds, all depends on your internet connection. For me, it will probably take around 10 minutes, so what we can do is leave this running while we do the other things. We're now back on the desktop and I've just created an empty folder called DayZ Epoch Server. This is going to contain all our data for the server and to make it run. First of all, what we're going to need to do is double click it to open it up, and then what we're going to need to do is drag over our entire Arma 2 directory first. Now mine is installed on my D drive. Yours will probably be on your C drive if you have one hard drive. You need to locate this. Now, once you found it, go into Arma 2 and literally copy up all of that and paste it into your DayZ Epoch folder. This may take a little while again, but I'm just going to let this run. That's now finished, and I'm going to transfer now all the Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead files over. Now if you've got anything like this installed, the app files, ignore those. Copy everything else but the app files. So for me, all of this stuff. I mean, it will still work if you transfer these files over, but you may get some conflict errors between other mods and things like that. So I'm just going to copy and paste them. Now there may be some conflicts what you're going to need to do is just replace any files which are conflicting. Now I'm going to wait for this to run, and I'll be back once it's done. The transfer is now completed, and I've ended up with a screen. I'm going to click this, and it should finish. Perfect. What we're now going to do is install xAmp. To do that, we double click on the data store, double click on xAmp, and wait for it to load. Next, untick everything but these. Now click next, then click next, and we don't want to learn more. And click next, and this should install. It's almost done now. All we need to do is click allow access, and then untick that, and click finish. We now want to open xAmp, type in xAmp, open the control panel, click save, and then this should appear. What we need to do is start the MySQL server. We do that by clicking start and allow access. Anytime you restart your PC or anything like that and you want to run the server, you'll need to start it manually like this. Now we can just close that and it will run on our taskbar. Now that we've got the MySQL server running, we can install MySQL Workbench to access it. To do that, just double click on the MySQL Workbench, click next, click complete, install, and it should just finish installing. It's now done. I'm going to click finish, and it installed. We're going to close that for now. Our DayZ Epoch client has just finished downloading. You can see that because it says it's seeding. What you want to do is you want to click it, click the stop button, double click it, and you'll see it's here. Now these are zipped archives, so what we need to do is install 7-zip. This means we can access it. To do it, we double click this file that we downloaded earlier, click install, and it should just install right away. Now click close, and then once we double click one of the zip files that we downloaded, it should just open right up. If it doesn't, you want to click it, click properties, click change, click more apps, scroll down, look for another app in this PC, go to 7-zip, then use this, double click it, click open, and then it should work. Now I'm going to double click it, and you can see it opens in the zip archive. Now I'm going to drag it out just to here, just this folder. This will unzip the archive. Once it's done, I'll come back. And that's now transferred. Now what we want to do is do the same thing but with the server. Double click it. Now I'm going to make a folder for this first so it doesn't just spew all over. I'll call it DayZ Epoch server. You can call it whatever, it's just temporary. Now drag all of this into this. Now close your 7-zip windows. Now you can close uTorrent. That's done for. Now you want to go back to your DayZ Epoch server, double click it, open it up. Now what we want to do is we want to go into our DayZ Epoch folder we just extracted, double click it, copy all of that, and paste it over. We're now going to go back to our DayZ Epoch data store, go into DayZ Epoch server. Now we want to copy this and paste it over, copy Battle and paste it over, copy keys, paste it over, click replace. Now you'll want to copy these without the readme and paste that. Now these last ones are a little different. You want to go into config examples, find the instance you want. So for instance, I am going to be installing Chernarus. You'll find that and find the corresponding BAT file. Click that, copy it, and paste it. Now you'll want to go to MP missions and then choose the corresponding mission. Again, I'm using Chernarus, so I'll copy that and go into MP missions and paste it in. Now this contains config files and things like that, which you'll probably be needing. This is one of the most used files when you're editing DayZ servers. Now, since Arma 2 and Arma 2 OA recently changed over to a VAC anti-cheat system compared to a BattlEye anti-cheat system, you need to add in a tiny bit to a certain file in here to enable Steam to query your server for info and things like that. What you need to go is go back to your DayZ Epoch server, go to instance, whatever you have, and then go to config, load that up, and then just under here, require secure ID, you need to put this. I'm going to put this in the description for you guys to copy, but it's basically allowing this port and telling it which port it needs to use. While we're here, we can add in the name of your server. So for instance, we can call this xMicroNinjax. This is DayZ Epoch server. You need to leave this bit at the end because this tells launchers and things like that, like the old DayZ Commander and newer things like that, what server it is, so when people try to filter it, they can find your server and connect to it. Now, this password is the password people can connect to. So if you leave it blank, people don't need a password. If you put this, for instance, they will have to type in name to join your server. This admin password, 100% change this. Otherwise, people can connect to your server, log in as an admin, and start messing around with certain things. So I'm going to change it to Bob. Now, max players, self-explanatory. Log file, don't change this unless you know what you're doing. You do not need to know about any of this, plus don't change it. MOTD, this is message of the day. Now, what it will do is when you join the server, it will show DayZ Epoch in chat, and then it will wait a little bit, and then say have fun. Change this to whatever you want, separate each message by a comma. Now, this section is about the voice quality on DayZ chat. Just leave it like that, otherwise it will eat too much bandwidth. Now, this will enable voice over net. If it's 1, if it's 0, it will disable it. Duplicate kick, leave that. Verify signatures, leave that. Again, leave all of this unless you exactly know what it does and what you're doing. And that should be it. Once you're done with that, just save it and then close it. Go to our batch file, DayZ Epoch instance 11 generous, or whatever instance you have. Right click it, click edit, and then get rid of this little bit. Now save it, close it. Now the DayZ server is all set up, files wise. All we need to do is set up the database. Now we need to change a couple config files for it to work. What we need to do is go into instance 11 generous, open hive.ext. Now this, you can change the time in here if you want to. Just read the description to work out how it works. But the main thing we want to look at is this, the database. If you're hosting on the database on another machine, make sure to change the IP. But since we're hosting on our own local machine, it doesn't matter. Now port, don't change it. It's the default port. Now this is the name of the database you'll create. You can name it something different, but just for this, I'm going to leave it the same. Now username, we're going to put root. And the password, we're going to leave blank. Now this wouldn't be secure if you have other people on your network you don't trust. But as long as you don't port forward this, you'll be perfectly fine. So just save this and close it. Now what we're going to need to do is set up the database and how it's structured. To do that, you need to open up MySQL Workbench. Once that's loaded, click on the little plus. Now the connection name, we're going to call that DayZ _Epoch. And the username, we're going to leave that that. And then we can click OK. Now we're going to click it once, click continue anyway, and then it should bring us into this. Now, this is where our databases are, and we're going to need to create a new schema. Now the new schema is going to be called DayZ _Epoch. Then click apply, then click apply. Perfect, that's done. triple click DayZ Epoch to select it as the database you want to manage. Now, click on this. What we're going to do is we're going to find a file we downloaded earlier in the data store. It's in DayZ Epoch server and it's in SQL. It's this. What you need to do is drag this over into this section and click on this Thunderbolt. Now it will add in all of the data, all of the things you want to sell, buy, anything else like that here. Now to see the data, I'm going to click refresh, and then this little drop down arrow should appear next to tables. If I click that, a few menus should come up. Now, most of these you don't need to worry about. If you don't really want to care about like what's in your server and things like that, just leave it as it is. I can probably talk about it in another episode if someone wants me to. Just comment if you do. Now close this, and pretty much everything's set up. Now all you need to do to start your server is scroll down and click DayZ Epoch Instance 11 Generous, the batch file. Double click it, and it should just load right up. Here it is, all loaded, and you can see it's on port 2302, and that should work. We're now going to test it with an Armor connection. One thing I forgot to do was move the DayZ Epoch client files over to the server. As you can now see, I've opened Armor 2 with DayZ Epoch 1.0.5.1 enabled. Now I'm going to go to multiplayer, make sure this is clicked on LAN, and then you can see my server. I'm not sure if you can read that, but it says the name of the server I created earlier. Double click it, and there you are in the server. All you need to do is click OK and you'll be in the server. Now for any other tutorials, just comment on anything you need, maybe add-ons or stuff like that. I'll just make on demand basically. So if there's any other questions or anything else you need clarification with, just say and I'll try to answer it. Thank you and goodbye.